Good evening, everyone. Today's class is about feet. Are they the windows to your soul? And what's the best way to apply essential oils? And why do we always talk about applying them to our feet? I think this is a really good question because for many of you, you've been told some different things about why it's important to apply essential oils to your feet. And I think it's really good idea that we kind of straighten that out. And we learned some new information about what's going on with our feet and new things that we know. And especially as if you're sharing essential oils, you want to be able to share intelligently and correctly, and all of that is super important. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay. Okay, how your feet are a window to the soul. So we've heard this, that the eyes can be the window to the soul, and your heart can be a window to the soul. And I actually thought of making a pun here and actually spelling the word soul, S-O-L-E, like the sole of your foot, but I resisted. But it is very important for us to get to know our feet, especially as it pertains to essential oils, and understand what exactly is happening when we apply essential oils to our feet. So let's get started. So first thing I want to do is I want to say thank you to our Blue Diamond team, our Rising Blue Diamonds. If you haven't had a chance to meet me in person, I am Elena Jordan, and hopefully I will get to meet all of you really soon. Thank you also to Elizabeth Ho, Hong and Shu Lee, Sang Wei, Huen Wei, and Lorinda Walker. Thank you to our Rising Diamonds, Karen Johnson and Kat Srimalati and Denise Wendeman. And our Rising Platinums, Joyce Lynn, Si Hun, Sandra, Bean Hu, Nicole, Heather, and David. Thank you to our executive team, if you will. I want to just congratulate you on all of your hard work. I know this year has been no different, but you've really made enormous strides, and I see people becoming founders left and right. It is really very exciting. And now that I look at this list, I realize that I am missing Carmen Tan, on the Rising Platinums. So Carmen, my heart goes out to you. Thank you so much and congratulations. She is actually a recent gold and now a Rising Platinum and has just begun to qualify for Singapore Founder. Congratulations to Carmen. Our Rising Golds, Melanie, Sarita, Swan, Bryce, Kok Heng, Joyce, Soon Kun, Marie, Jeng Jeng, Agnes, Lydia, Wei, Yok Mei, Sue, Anne, Sylvia, Laura, Kathleen, Lee Vern, Pui Hoon, here's Carmen on the wrong list, Shirley Tang, Alan, Joyce Lynn, Telia, Vinci, and Michelle Young. Thank you everyone on this list, and I really appreciate all that you do. Actually, I'm gonna take a look at our comments for a second. Oh, and one more comment. Joycelyn Tay is also a Rising Platinum. So you know what? I'm going to make a quick adjustment because I know myself. Congratulations, Jocelyn. Where are you? Here you are. Let me move you two ladies to the other list so I don't forget for next week. Whoops. And I'll make adjustments to the list so that it looks more beautiful when we come back. But I know myself, if I get off the call and I don't do this, next week I will make the same mistake, and I don't want to do that. That would be a bad thing. Okay, there we go. I've adjusted the list. Thank you for letting me know, and thank you to our team members for always being so patient with me. So here we go. Today's topic is based on the book Top Essential Oils Healthcare for Today, a beginner's guide. These are the top 50 health issues from A to Z. Each issue is presented in a 2-page format and contains a suggestion for a loyalty rewards points program, or LRP order, for 3 months. So if you're helping someone to begin to get healthy, or they are already healthy and they want to stay that way, you can give them suggestions for LRP, especially as they get started. It's a great idea to really help them, show them what types of things they can order to support their body. So this is being called the LRP book. If you are a beginner yourself, or you are helping beginners, this is the book that you want to look for. We will probably have some copies available when I come to Singapore. So I want to make sure that everybody who doesn't have one is coming to see me, because I'll make sure that I have a few signed copies for you while I am visiting. Okay, so would you be surprised if your feet started talking to you? What if I told you that they're speaking to you right now? And all it takes is a little know-how to learn how to listen to them. So if you are familiar with the study of reflexology, or you've heard of reflexology, you know that in many ways it's a matter of talking to or diagnosing your body health through your feet, and being able to affect your feet is one of the affect your body organs through the soles of your feet is really the premise of reflexology. Now, we often say that there's a funny expression in English, calling your feet your dogs, and people will say, well, my dogs are barking, which usually means that their feet are painful. Maybe they've done something, they've walked around too much, or they wore shoes that were too tight or uncomfortable. So our feet have a way of talking to us, and if we're not comfortable for whatever reason, because of toenail issues or other problems, our feet can really cause us a lot of distress. They bear the weight of our entire body throughout the day, unless we're basically sitting. Our feet are the things that help us to balance and also to keep our equilibrium. And without our feet, we would really be in a lot of trouble. So yes, our feet are talking to us all the time. So let's talk about some facts about the feet. So there are two types of pores in the body. And this is important because I know that many of you have been told that the reason we put essential oils on the soles of our feet is because the pores are larger on the soles of the feet. I'm here to tell you folks that that is not true. The pores on the body are actually the same size. So you want to remember three things when you're talking about the pores of the body. Number one is there are two types of pores. Type 1 excretes oil to lubricate the skin, and these are not on the feet. And the second type excretes water to cool the skin, and those are on the feet. As you know, some people have very feet that perspire quite a bit. And the perspiration acts to cool the feet and also to cool the whole body. And number 3 is the size of your pores are determined by genetics and are the same size throughout the body. Pores don't move, and heat and moisture soften the skin's elastic connective tissue fibers, and that's collagen and elastin. So those are two things. I'm sorry if you've been telling everybody that the pores of the feet are larger. They are not. And I have to say, I believed that myth for a long time. I actually came from another essential oil company, and that's what they told us, and I believed it, and now I know that it is not true. So you want to make sure that if you are uncertain about something, check it out either on the web or ask one of your uplines, and we're sure to give you the correct information. There are 100,000 nerve endings per foot. Tactile feedback from the soles of your feet provide information to your brain with warnings. Shoes negate this communication. And feet need to breathe and need to be walked on barefoot. Calluses and blisters are caused by shoes. Foot injury is seldom caused by walking barefoot. Let your feet breathe as much as possible. We're going to talk about this in a little bit more depth in a second. The thickness and inflexibility of the skin on the bottom of the feet make it a perfect place to apply oils. Most people do not have to dilute oils on the bottom of the feet, but always do a patch test. Now, we want to make sure you're doing a patch test with children or with infants or with the elderly who tend to have thinner, more sensitive skin. You want to make sure that you're not applying anything to someone and then making them uncomfortable. But certainly when you're applying hot oils, and we're going to talk about that also in a minute, you want to do a patch test, even if it's on the soles of the feet. Okay, so the ultimate antioxidant, your feet. And did you ever hear that? So do you notice you feel better when you walk barefoot on the earth? And recent research has explained why this happens. Your immune system functions optimally when your body has an adequate supply of electrons, which are easily and naturally obtained by barefoot contact with the earth. Research indicates that electrons from the earth have antioxidant effects that can protect your body from inflammation and its many well-documented health consequences. For most of our evolutionary history, humans have had continuous contact with the earth. Now, I will tell you, I live in a private house, and I have a lot of green grass in the back of my house, and I try to get out there and walk barefoot, but I am not always successful, and I certainly don't do it every day. For those of you who live in cities, it may be a challenge for you to walk outdoors, but I'm going to give you some suggestions. So this is the process of walking barefoot on the earth is called earthing or grounding, and let's talk a little bit about it. It's known that the earth maintains a negative electrical potential on its surface. When you are in direct contact with the ground, walking, sitting, or laying down on the earth's surface, the earth's electrons are conducted to your body, bringing it to the same electrical potential as the earth. Living in direct contact with the earth grounds your body, inducing favorable physiological and electrophysiological changes that promote optimum health. There is an emerging science documenting how conductive contact with the earth, which is also known as earthing or grounding, is highly beneficial to your health and completely safe. Earthing appears to minimize the consequences of exposure to potentially disruptive fields like electromagnetic pollution or dirty electricity, much of which we get in cities or from our cell phones. Some of the recent evidence supporting this approach involves multiple studies documenting earthing's improvement in blood viscosity, heart rate variability, inflammation, cortisol dynamics, sleep, autonomic nervous system balance, and reduced effects of stress. Now, I know many of you have probably been on picnics in the past or been out to the country, and just that feeling of spreading out a blanket and sitting on the earth is such a powerful one. It's so relaxing to us. So here's my tip if you can't get out to the country. Traditionally, shoes were made of leather, which actually conducts electrons and therefore maintains a conductive contact between the earth and your feet. However, modern day rubber and plastics are electrical insulators and therefore block the beneficial flow of electrons from the earth to your body. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you can possibly find your way to a pair of natural leather shoes, you actually have a great way of grounding yourself. Now, ladies, I know we like to change our shoes all the time. Sometimes we wear high heels or low heels. Very often we wear sneakers. Gentlemen, you may be a little bit luckier because many of men's traditional shoes are still made of all leather. But consider getting yourself a pair of shoes made of leather, or putting a pair of leather shoes into your rotation on a more regular basis. And while you may think that walking on grass is actually the most beneficial, and it may actually be, walking on asphalt or concrete can actually conduct the same amount of electricity. Now, if you're standing in a 10-story building, no, you're not going to be conducting any electricity. But those electrons will be flowing when you get closer to the earth. So as close as you can get to the earth when you're on ground level. And if you do happen to go to a garden or a park, make sure that you try to sit down, put your feet on the ground, ground yourself, earth yourself, if you will, and really maintain that electromagnetic flow. Okay, what's the best way to do it? With the essential oil of Balance, the grounding blend. Balance contains ingredients like spruce, whole wood, frankincense, blue tansy, and blue chamomile flower in a base of fractionated coconut oil. It promotes a whole body sense of relaxation, evokes feelings of tranquility and balance. You want to use it before bed for a restful night's sleep. Add to wrists or neck to help ease anxious feelings. I love to use Balance when I'm going into a tense situation. and you want to apply it to your feet morning and night. For those of you who struggle with very dry feet or feet that have calluses on them, Balance is a wonderful way to begin to soften the skin on the soles of your feet because of the fractionated coconut oil. I also always feel that I can add another oil on top of Balance because that fractionated coconut oil is going to act like glue to actually paste the essential oils right onto my skin so they don't become, they rub right off if I'm wearing shoes or socks, and they don't get onto my sheets if I'm getting into bed, and they also don't evaporate quite as quickly as essential oils usually do. So consider layering your Balance essential oil with other oils to make it really stick onto your feet. And you want to try to diffuse it perhaps in your car during road trips to create a calm environment. Okay, so a foot scrub. One of the best things you can do on a weekly basis, at least, you may not be able to do it every day, is to use a foot scrub. You want to include essential oils in there because as you soften the skin and you use some of the more emollient ingredients, you'll be able to really have the essential oils soak in and do the good that they need to do. So you want to start with a cup of organic virgin coconut oil. It needn't be fractionated. It can be the one that is solid. Pink Himalayan or Epsom salts, which can help to draw out toxins from the body, fractionated coconut oil, and then 15 drops of your favorite essential oil or essential oil blend, of course. You want to melt the coconut oil in a microwave or double boiler. I know many people don't use microwaves anymore. Once melted, remove it from the heat. Add the fractionated coconut oil, the salt, and stir to combine. And finally, add the essential oils. Let it sit until the coconut oil solidifies, stirring every 10 minutes. Stir until well combined, and store in an airtight container. To use, rub on skin and rinse with warm water. So the salt will actually, as you can see in the picture behind the words, work to remove calluses, and the virgin coconut oil and the fractionated coconut oil will help to soften the skin and loosen any imperfections that you may have on your feet. The salt acts as a detoxifier, so it can help to draw any imperfections from out of the feet, and it also works to stabilize the feet and perhaps make them feel just a little bit more comfortable. Okay, how to do a home pedicure. Now I'm showing a woman's foot here with a little bit of nail polish, but gentlemen, you needn't go to that ultimate step. You can stop before putting polish on your toes. Ladies, if you want to put polish on your toes, look for a polish that maybe doesn't have formaldehyde in it. There's some great new finger and toenail polishes that are a little bit more natural. One of the brands that we get here in the United States, I think it comes actually from London, is a brand called Butter. But you can look in your local markets, and I'm sure you can find something that doesn't have perhaps formaldehyde or toluene, ingredients that tend to be very toxic. So pedicure kit, you want to soak your feet in warm water, salt, and 5 to 10 drops of Serenity for calming, Citrus Bliss for invigorating, Purify for cleansing, Breathe for allergies and illness, or Cheer for stress. Apply Correct-X to the nails and then clip and file. Use the foot scrub on the feet and the legs and rinse. Use a cotton ball to apply lemon oil to nails to dry them and remove excess polish. And then paint the nails if you wish, ladies. And then finally apply rose or unscented lotion with the above chosen oil to finish. And these feet look really beautiful. I don't know if mine would ever look that beautiful, even if I did all those steps. But it is a wonderful treatment for yourself or for a loved one to treat and care for your feet. For those of you who are struggling with diabetes, you know the importance of taking care of your feet and how, and if you have clients or members of your team who are struggling with diabetes, the importance of care and treatment of the feet and not allowing the feet to have any broken areas, because with a diabetic, that's one of the biggest problems. If they do have sores on their feet, they tend not to heal. So you really want to watch that. Okay, hot oils. Hot oils always on the feet. We talked a little bit about before why, because of the thickness of the skin, it's a little bit easier to apply hot oils on the feet. So oils like cassia, cinnamon bark, clove, oregano, thyme, on guard, passion, and slim and sassy. Any of those oils, if you're applying them on sensitive areas in the body, you want to make sure that you're diluting them. But for the most part, you would probably, especially on adult feet, be able to apply these undiluted to the soles of the feet. But keep in mind, you want to look at who you're applying them on and then make any adjustments. And please do a patch test just in case. Okay, so now let's talk about reflexology. So I've included these charts, and you can take a look at where, and I have to say, if there is anybody who is an advanced practitioner of reflexology, please forgive me for all the mistakes I'm going to make, because this is a very short overview, and I'm sure if you studied reflexology for any amount of time, and it really could be a lifetime, you're probably thinking, oh no, this woman is mixing everything up. But I'm doing my best, and I hope you'll bear with me. So if you have digestive issues, you can see the feet are basically broken up into 5 quadrants. So the toes, the top part of the foot, the arch of the foot, and then the lower half or back half of the foot. And you can see that the eyes and ears and the sinuses are on the toes. The lungs and heart are in the front part of the foot, the ball of the foot. The pancreas, stomach, kidneys are in the arch of the foot. And finally, the abdominal area, the bladder, the pelvic area, and the intestines, all in the back of the foot or the heel of the foot. So we're talking about digestive issues specifically. You want to make sure that you're applying your Digest Zen to the heels of your feet, making sure that you're covering the whole area. You can see that the side of the foot on the interior is the bladder. So if you have anybody who's dealing with bladder issues, you maybe want to include another oil that supports the bladder, perhaps like a cypress or a juniper berry right there on the bladder point. So I'm going to go through 4 or 5 slides that will give you some suggestions for oils that you can apply to specific points on the feet that, when applied in that way, should really help you to see results. The one thing I do want to mention, though, is if you are not familiar with these charts and you've just been applying the oils to the entire foot, it's still fine. Really, essential oils have a way of absorbing into the body through the feet in ways that we really can't even imagine, and circulating throughout our entire bloodstream. What we're encouraging you to do here is to just add that extra level, knowing that these areas are more connected. You may want to just apply a certain oil or a special oil, especially if you're dealing with a certain condition. So first, digestive issues. Then respiratory issues, any issues having to do with the lungs and the heart on the balls of the feet, maybe the shoulders. Interestingly enough, you might want to apply your Breathe to this area, but maybe you want to apply your Deep Blue if you're having shoulder pain or neck pain. As you can see, the body is almost mimicked on the foot, with the head being at the big toe and then coming down with the lungs, the stomach, and then finally the intestines at the bottom. So if you think of your foot as a mirror or your body shape, think of your big toe as your head and then all the way down. So in the event you get confused and you're thinking, wait, what did she say? Try to think mentally of drawing a little picture of a body on your foot, and then you'll easily know where to apply your essential oils. So Breathe for the lungs on the ball of your foot. Hormone issues, super important. Head and neck pain. You can either apply them to the toes, because you very often hormones have to do with the thyroid, and the thyroid is in the neck. Or you want to apply it to the heel of the foot, which is where your bladder and your reproductive organs are. So for women, want to get the most out of your calorie time, apply to your toes, and also especially to your big toe, and also to the heel of your foot. You can see how the internal edge of each foot is the bladder area. Many women, as they age, begin to have difficulty with incontinence and other bladder issues, pelvic UTIs, and other sorts of infections. Make sure you're supporting your bladder as you age. Cardiovascular issues, AromaTouch. Now, my mom, as I've spoken to you about before, has some cardiovascular issues, and she applies AromaTouch to her feet every night. She doesn't apply it specifically in this place, but she applies it on her entire feet and then also over her heart. AromaTouch is a great oil because it has marjoram in it, which is terrific for cardiovascular support. And last but not least, Zendocrine. For any of your stomach or kidney issues, detoxification, the liver, very important. You want to make sure that you're applying your detoxification blend over the arch, over your foot, to make sure that those organs continue to stay clean and functioning properly. Okay, last but not least, serenity. So when we talk about applying essential oils to the feet, we want to apply some basics. First, our balance every night, then maybe a specific oil to support any organ or issue that we may be working to overcome. And then finally, applying serenity to the feet every night can really help to balance us out and help us to settle down. I like to apply serenity to my feet, to my wrists, to the back of my neck, behind my ears before I go to bed each night. I may put it in a diffuser if I'm feeling specifically or a little bit more nervous or anxious. And in general, it's a wonderful essential oil blend. It includes things like lavender, sweet marjoram, Roman chamomile, ylang-ylang, sandalwood, and vanilla bean. It has kind of a sweet, warm aroma. Creates a perfect escape with its calming, renewing fragrance. It promotes relaxation and a restful sleeping environment. And you can diffuse it to help promote relaxation and decrease stress. You can also try to combine 3 cups of Epsom salts, 2 cups of sea salt, and 8 to 10 drops of Serenity to soak away stress. Now, I would actually, if I was putting that together, I would not use the whole 5 cups of Epsom salt, sea salts, and the oil in each bath. What I would do is mix that up, and then each time I had a bath, maybe add about a half a cup. And for those of you who are translating for me, a half a cup is, I don't know how much, what fraction of a liter. So maybe you want to look that up for me. I think it might be 1/8 of a liter. But if someone could look that up and post it for me, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, last but not least, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about success tips and a business overview. When I arrive in Asia, I'm going to be talking to many of you about success tips that have worked for me, things that I think can help you, and also how to begin to grow your team from wherever you are to the goal that you may want to achieve if you're still looking for founder status, and then certainly up to Diamond, which is your biggest achievement level, if you will, in the because you actually wind up in an additional pool of money. So that can be a really big boost to your income. I'm going to read you this little story, and then we're not going to talk about it as much today, but when I arrive in Singapore, I leave actually a week from today. I won't see you on Monday because, as you know, it's a 24-hour trip, but by Wednesday morning, I'll be there and I'll be able to see you. So it says buckets, pipelines, and essential oils. There was a man who lived in a village that was 2 miles from the nearest water source. His job was to haul buckets of water to the village every day. Since everyone needed water, he had perfect job security. To earn more money, he would simply make more trips. After years of hauling buckets, he realized that if he didn't change something, he would be hauling buckets for his entire life. So he made a plan. He would haul as many buckets as he needed to pay the bills, and in his spare time, he would work on building a pipeline. He stayed consistent and persistent in his pipeline building efforts. A few years later, he finally finished the pipeline and turned on the spigot in the village. The villagers could come and get water whenever they wanted. He not only created a pipeline of water, but he created a financial pipeline that would allow him to pursue his greater cause and higher purpose in life. Are you hauling buckets or are you creating a pipeline? A business overview will demonstrate how simply sharing essential oils with others can help you create a financial pipeline. So my goal or my dream for all of you is that you're able to create the pipeline that you need to support yourself and your family. As we talk about our feet and grounding ourselves, we want to really center ourselves and begin to think, where is it that I'm going and what's my dream or my hope for myself and my family? So we want to make sure that each and every one of you gets the support that you need. I'm hoping that you will all stop in and see me while I'm there. I'm actually going to stop the share. Whoops. I want to open up the line if anybody wants to ask questions, or maybe if I have a reflexology person on the team, if you could get on and just tell me what is it you know about reflexology that can help all of us. So if anyone knows anything about reflexology, if you could raise your hand and then I'll unmute you, or just give me, type it in the chat. You don't want to say anything out loud. How many of you have used reflexology before? You've ever gone for a treatment, you've used it on yourself, you know somebody who's used it? Give me either hands up or type it in the chat. Okay. Couple more. Okay, not a lot of you so far, a few. Okay, I see a few of you. So I have to say, I had never really done reflexology before. And when I was in Singapore last time, one of my really good friends took me to a lovely spa, and they did some reflexology on my feet. And I have to say, it was such an eye-opening experience. It was actually the last day I was about to board my plane, either that day or the following night. And I really felt like I had detoxified and relaxed. It was just an amazing experience, and I would absolutely want to try that again if I possibly could. I have to say, I have not used reflexology as much on myself. And while I did show you the charts, and I know a little bit about it, that the big toe is the head, that's about all that I know, and I haven't gone much further. So how many of you will be in Singapore? Okay, let's start with Vietnam. How many of you will be in Vietnam when I am there? So the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of June. Anybody on the call is going to be in Vietnam? Okay, nobody on the call today. Okay, how many of you are going to be in Malaysia when I get there? So that's going to be the 25th, 26th, I think 25th through the 28th. Anybody in Malaysia? Yes. Okay. Oops. Okay. Couple in Malaysia. Great. Can't wait to see you. Okay. And the rest of you, how many are going to be in Singapore when I'm there? I'm going to be there, I think, from the 26th through the 4th or 5th of July. Okay. Quite a few more. Okay. If you haven't made plans to come and meet with me, please stop in. I'm not going to be far. I'm going to be staying, I think, not far from the center of town, and I'd love to meet with some of you. And I know I'm going to be in the corporate office for several days. I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, so I have one question here. Let's say we have a few essential oils to apply. Is there a sequence or free? Okay, that's a really great question. I actually have to say I don't use a sequence. If you are a reflexology professional, you might know that there's a better sequence. Maybe from the top, I would think it would be one of two things, either from the top of the foot down, so from the toes down to the heel. The other thing that I would think perhaps is that you want to apply them in a way that makes sense for detoxification. So elimination, correct, would be done through the skin, the bladder, or the intestines. And so you want to make sure that the oils are applied so that you could release toxins from your body. Past tense or Claricalm for migraine. I would start with past tense, and then I might use Claricalm afterwards. The other thing is, many women who suffer from migraines often say that it is hormonally related. If you think or you suspect that it is, then I would probably try the Claricalm first. Anyone else? Okay. So I want to thank you all for being on the call. I will see you all in a little over a week. I can't wait. If you have questions, if you have any challenges, I want you to please be sure to get in contact with me. I really cannot wait to see you. And thank you so much, each and every one of you, for being on this call every single week. You're spreading the word. The call is getting bigger, and that's a really terrific thing. So I won't see you. For those of you who won't see me live, I won't see you again until almost a month from now. Actually, more than a month from now, back in the middle of July. So thank you all for your patience. Thank you for being on the call, and have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. God bless you. Bye now. And please pray for me while I'm on my trip.